This episode is brought to you by Midwest Night Watchers, found everywhere on your favorite podcast platforms.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Piercing the Veil.
Happy Sunday again.
Happy Sunday. We're back again. Of course, You've probably seen us a couple of times throughout the week. We keep popping in on and out of our shows, everybody else's show, but this is our normal time, our normal show for Sunday. So welcome in, everyone.
Yeah, where'd this week go? It just seems like we were just doing our show.
I know. We got a lot of people popping in already.
Oh, yeah. We got 21 in chat already. I don't know if we can scroll back and, well, we'll try. Hey, we got Blazer and T-Bone. We've got OCST. Got Derek. We got Clay. I got T-Bone already. Brown Dwarf. Hey, Brown Dwarf's in chat.
All right.
Monisha. Oh, let's go back. I saw Latro, Feisty Kitty. I saw Tammy somewhere. There's Tammy. Keep going back. Keep going back. Who did I miss?
Oh, there was people popping in before we
there's a few at the beginning. Welcome in, everyone.
So if we didn't say hi to you, sorry. We're trying to keep up, and so know that we appreciate you being here tonight. And this is going to be a great show. We're going to be talking about drones and orbs and plasmoids and UFOs and whatever else in between. It's going to be fun. And we have our special guest. We have a Bigfoot Dwarf that you guys probably all know. And we have John, Latchkey Hustle. And they're both out there in the West Coast. So they've been capturing a lot of weird stuff. And hi, Jessica.
Hi, Jessica.
And then we also have our videos. And I've been capturing slowly videos of that's been broadcast during the wildfires, and you've been seeing weird stuff pop in and out. So not that the video isn't showing devastation and stuff that's already exciting, but then if you look closely in that footage, you see weird stuff popping in and out of the smoke and the clouds. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. And as always, our hearts go out to everybody that's been affected by the wildfires out on the West Coast, California, LA area, and also North Carolina. Still, hurricane victims are still having problems, and only that, the deep freeze that hit Florida and devastation out there, especially the Panhandle. The Panhandle got hit hard. Were you saying hi to everybody in chat?
Yep.
All right.
Trying to anyway.
So I guess we'll start over. Welcome everybody in chat. We'll go ahead and bring our guests up. Like I said, we got Bigfoot Dwarf and we got Latchkey Hustle here to help us out to explain. Well, I don't know if we can explain everything, but we can at least show what we've captured. And we each all have our own videos and pictures that we're going to share. So we'll just bring them right up and get going.
AKA Brown Dwarf.
Boom. Good evening.
Good evening, guys. Welcome.
Welcome, John.
Thanks. Hello.
Welcome,
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
Glad you guys are here because I've been well, obviously I knew Bigfoot Dwarf, Brown Dwarf for quite a while, and we've been sharing and talking about UFOs and stuff like that we captured. And then through him, I met you, John, and I really enjoy your channel also and the stuff that you've been capturing. So I thought, well, this would be a good show to get us all together and talk about this stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. This is it seems like the more people are looking up, the more people are opening up to the whole concept, and more people are capturing footage. I think it's great.
It is. It seems like, since everybody's starting their channels or getting online, getting social with everybody and checking all these channels out, that more and more videos are popping up all the time. And it's neat to see just like us, everyday people, all of a sudden just capturing these things that are in the sky. It's like sometimes by accident, you're just out there filming, and all of a sudden, like, you look back at it later, it's like, what the heck was that?
Oh yeah. There's a whole lot of that, I think. And yeah, like you said, it's just everyday folk, right? And it's cool that we're, finding each other, I feel, and sharing all this. Yeah, because a lot of us do have some really interesting stuff to share. And I'm sure we have stuff that, has happened to us that, it's just a story. We don't have anything to show but the tale. But yeah, no, it's cool to see all the stuff that's being captured these days. So I feel like there's like an underground circuit of stuff. You have your mainstream UFO scene, but there's stuff going on in the underground. People should tap in.
Right. The neat thing about it is, like me and Jane and you, John, and Dwarf, that we don't even have to leave our area. We're filming out our backyard, and I know you do the same thing, Bigfoot. You just step right outside your shop or where you're staying at your house, and you too, John, you're right there in your backyard, and everything's just like there. You don't even have to go out anywhere to like DSETI or somewhere to see this weird stuff. It's happening right here in our own area.
Well, Dwarf don't have to wait till dark. He catches these things daytime, and I'm going, I've never seen anything during the day. How are you doing this? And you just say they just appear to you.
I'd ask John.
Yeah, I know. Well, John does it too.
What's cool about Dwarf's captures too is that, a lot of them are like, they're just like they're hovering or loitering for him. Like they hang out. Like I catch things that are passing, they're going somewhere. I don't know where they're coming or where they're going, too, but he seems to capture things that are presenting themselves, for him, which I think is just amazing.
Yeah, I wonder about that. And I feel like it does happen for a lot of people. I think that's kind of part of this whole thing is that these things may be presenting themselves to you, myself, and others. And it seems like more and more people are being presented by these things. Weird.
I think it's neat, like we have air traffic that goes across to us from Peoria to Chicago, so it's a pretty big air path. And you guys, I think, live in the same kind of situation where you have air traffic and stuff go by you. And I think these things, whether they're drones or whatever they are, I think they like following these airplanes in the flight paths. And you'll see them circling them and diving in and out around them. And I think most people probably look up and say, "Oh, that's a plane," and they don't look or pay attention to what's around the plane, or zoom in a little bit more to see, okay, what's going on around that airspace.
I've got that the last 2 years. If you watch the airplanes coming in, just look around. There's usually one going in front of them or behind them. Yeah, there's strange lights following the planes.
Yeah. If you go, like, if you say you go snorkeling, or you go into an environment like the water, you go near a reef, and the natural life there is curious about the newcomer, right? They come and they check out, what is this thing in our environment,
right?
And then they make their assessment, they do what they're going to do. But I look at the sky this similar way, sort of like, our craft are up there with our gasoline and our jet engines and stuff and our metallic tubes, and it's like it's up there, and then the natural environment up there is like, hey, what's up here in our world? And they're just constantly checking out whatever is up there, and it's our machinery.
Yep. And the thing is, we're paying attention to it now, but how long have they been doing this? That's the thing. This is this recent times that everybody's really focusing in on it, but it's like they could have been doing that in the 70s, and as long as we've had airplanes.
Yeah, I agree. Well, for me personally, I've seen things for my whole life, but for a lot of it I chalked up to just like my mental, not mental, but like my wiring being off. Like I get migraines, I have synesthesia, so I can smell certain colors. I'm just not totally wired correctly. And so I would see little things darting around and I would just presume that it was some sort of neurological artifact. And then I started capturing things on camera and then realizing like, oh, I actually was seeing these things. It wasn't just my brain misfiring. This stuff is actually happening. It's just
Right.
that now we have the technology to kind of capture this stuff and slow down the environment with our phones and, kind of scrutinize it.
Yeah, I don't know how many times we've been out in the backyard looking at meteor showers or trying to catch meteors, and all of a sudden, out of the corner of your eye, you'll see a flash.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of times you think, okay, that's a meteor. Well, we don't really know that. I didn't physically see it right in front of me. I just kind of saw it off the side. So was that really a meteor entering our atmosphere, or was that something else using a portal or coming in and leaving? And they had a burst of energy. I mean, unless you actually film it and know it, or actually look at it, you don't really know a lot of times. And that can happen today also. You just assume, okay, I see a little flirt or around an airplane or go something streak a little bit. It's like, you just kind of, when I first started filming or looking at it, I just assumed, oh, that's just something normal, a bird or something in the sky, until you actually film it and start zooming in and looking at it a little closer. It's like, no, I don't think that's a bird. I don't think that's a helicopter. What is that thing?
And I don't know how many times I'm out there meditating and I look up and there's a real bright light. It's not moving. It's not blinking. It is brighter than a bright star, and then it just disappears. And I'm thinking, well, hello.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing you touched on too with all this is the meditation. I heard John also recently mentioned that he practices some meditation.
Mhm.
And I recently had gotten into. I've always had been into it, but never really knew. And not that I know now, I just do what I feel is meditation to me. But I know there's all different types of meditations and stuff. It gets deep, but yeah, I started practicing this stuff, and I want to say that things have ramped up since.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's just highlighted now. I think everybody's starting to pay attention, especially with TikTok and the Reels and Instagram. Everybody's starting to connect and seeing what's going on up in our skies.
There's not a whole lot
a
to
collective
meditation.
consciousness.
Yep.
Say it again.
You don't have to quiet your mind. What I do in the backyard is I just quiet myself. I imagine myself in an elevator going higher and higher, and you can feel your vibrations going higher and higher. And I just send out love, joy, bliss. I make sure there's no malevolent evil that will appear. They're not allowed. And I'm just sitting back there quietly, just focusing on them, just sending out love. And that's all I do. It's nothing like, oh, you got to quiet your mind for half an hour. I don't know how to do that. My mind can't do that. I cannot clear my mind. So it's just your like intention, just be quiet and just send out love.
I think that's a great point too, that like everybody finding their own way to do it. Right.
Yeah.
And like you mentioned, you're heightening your vibration. Like I'm not particularly religious, but in the beginning of like 2 years ago, in the beginning of 2023, I remember telling my parents, I was visiting them, and I told them, I said, I feel something is changing with me. I feel like I'm ascending. And that's sort of like a quasi-religious term, but I meant it in a non-religious way. I just feel, and I was trying to explain to them, my vibration was changing and it was increasing, and it wasn't accidental necessarily. Well, actually it was. I wasn't trying to do that, but I sort of stumbled upon ice baths and cold exposure and some other things that are really challenging for me. And it caused me to sort of dig deep and sort of be honest with myself and try to regain my mental dominion over my physical body. I started sort of like doing breath work and some other things. And as a result of that, I felt like I just had this increased awareness. And as that process unfolded, I started to see more and feel more, which, like I sort of stumbled upon it, but the net result was me gaining this higher awareness, and the higher I get, the more connected I feel. And
Exactly.
Right.
but there was no book, I wasn't following, an equation. This was just sort of my own path.
Right.
And I think, like Jane, you're saying, you have your approach. Brown has his approach, in terms of what he considers meditation, and everybody kind of can find their own way. And there doesn't necessarily, like Stephen Greer, for example, with his CE5, sounds like he has a specific method, right? And which is
Right.
great for him and that. But you don't have to do that to find your own methodology that's going to raise your own vibration and your frequency so you can connect more.
Right.
Right.
So T-Bone's already asked the first question of the night, and we'll try to get to these questions, but our main focus today is to share our videos and our findings, but we'll try to answer questions as we can. So he wants to know if either of you are RH negative, and you don't have to answer that if it's too personal, but do you guys have any feelings that maybe you've been contacted or abducted or any kind of special that draws these things to you? Because I don't have that experience that I know of, but I've never been regressed or anything. So, but I don't really care if I have or haven't. I just enjoy watching them in the sky and try to capture videos of them.
Yeah, not that I could remember like any point where I could say like, oh, I was taken, but there's been some interesting moments in my life where, there's been like some sleep paralysis episodes, some I guess lucid dreaming you could call it. And yeah, one of those that I could remember is like being a kid and floating out my window and then having to swim down, kind of like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory when they have to burp.
Okay.
I knew something was taking me up, and if I kept going up, there's a chance I wasn't going to be coming back. And yeah, I don't
that's
know.
interesting.
Well, I am not RH negative, but I'll tell you, my parents are hippies, and so I had the luxury of growing up in a very, free environment where my feelings and my thoughts were all embraced and cultivated. And my parents were taking me to have my aura read when I was 8 years old. And they were asking me my opinions about things. And, I grew up in a very open, loving home. And I'm very fortunate for that. And one of the reason I mention it is because a lot of my childhood, my childish ways weren't suppressed. They were never like, well, you need to go and do this, and that's silly, and well, you're just a kid. What do you know? Like kind of those traditional things didn't apply to me. So I was always emboldened by my family to embrace my feelings about things. So there's a really childish way about me internally that I think allows me to stay connected or reconnect, as it were, because I didn't like harden. I never hardened in that sort of traditional adult way. When you get, like I've always believed in the Fae. I've never not. And most people, you believe it when you're little, and then by the time you're 20, you're like, oh, that's nonsense. That's kid stuff. And I never went through that phase of dismissing it and then having to embrace it. I've always been accepting and believing of these things. So I think that's kind of helped me in that way.
Yeah, I think we touched on it yesterday a bit about feeling that youthfulness. We're talking about sharing our ages and stuff, and yeah, just the idea came to me is like, yeah, that feeling, that young feeling, because I may come off as like I don't know, acting really young sometimes, I feel, but no, it's just a part of me. And I mentioned I'm like 43 now, but I still feel like I'm in my teenage years at times, and I may act like it also. But yeah, no, it's something about that youthful energy, and I feel like it's related to what kind of John is explaining here. And our parents also same thing. They always encouraged us to, do what we were passionate about, and always supported. Even the family totally supports me at this point now too. And yeah, always had that love and guidance and stuff. So yeah, cool that you
Right.
pointed that out, John.
Mm.
I didn't grow up necessarily in that kind of framework, but my parents were very loving and supportive of me. But as long as I got my things done that I needed to get done, whether it was yard work or whether it was school work or whatever, or I can do whatever I wanted basically. So they didn't stop me from getting the UFO Bigfoot books when I was in grade school or junior high, or watching sci-fi programs or movies. And we grew up watching Wonderful World of Disney with the fairy going across the screen. So we always kept that alive in us, even though we might have known that okay, maybe that's make believe, but it still allowed us to dream. And my parents never squashed any of that, but they never acknowledged it necessarily either. But they didn't stop it from happening or tell us, grow up or quit worrying about it, because we always celebrated the Easter Bunny and Christmas and Santa and all that stuff. So it was the magic of being a child was always alive the whole time my parents were living.
And to me, I'm almost 63. I don't want to grow up.
You're a Toys R Us
Never a
kid.
kid.
Yeah,
No, but
I'm a
Garo, I
senior
think you're
kid.
very fortunate. You're very fortunate to have that. I mean, I think, our generation had parents that were going through things. Everybody's got their own thing. Um, and a lot of my friends, I'm 51, and a lot of my friends didn't grow up the way I did. They were sort of like, stop with that nonsense, study. And, not that I didn't have responsibilities and obligations too, but
Right.
I think you're in the minority when you have parents of our age range that weren't affirmatively extinguishing that, like rushing us through the childhood thing, like and it carries over because like my kids, we're constantly talking about what superpower are you going to have and who would you want. And like I practice TK with my son, and we have pinwheels, and we go all in. And they also do. And Dwarf has seen photos of my kids in the ice bath. They're all about it. I mean, they're and but it's like I'm trying to bestow on them what my parents did for me, which was like, you can be a kid your whole life.
Right.
And I mean, and I don't know why you wouldn't really, and ironically, as a kid, you assume that the adults know everything, and then you become an adult and realize nobody knows anything.
Right.
Right? Like nobody knows.
That is amazing. I always thought that of my parents and my dad, especially. He always had the answers to whatever. And now that I'm an adult, it's like, is my dad just flying by the seat of his pants and just telling me to do this, thinking that would be the best thing? He didn't know if it was going to work, not work, but he goes, just do this. This will work. And I just believe it and do it. And it's like, yeah, that worked out pretty good.
Right. Yeah. And it's funny because I'm sort of leery of other grown-ups that know too much or claim to know stuff. Because I'm like, well, I know the secret, which is that you don't know anything. So who are you fooling here?
Right. I mean, and I prefaced that with my kids. I said, well, this is how I would do it. I said, it could just blow up in your face, but I don't know. But so I give them that little bit like, okay, this is at your own risk. I'm not telling you, I know this is going to work 100%, but go ahead and try it. I mean, you got to try to learn and experience things. I try not to put them in harm's way with stuff, but just try it, give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely. The youth. I mean, it's important for them to have that freedom, that ability to be able to express themselves. And yeah, I think the issues happen when those things are suppressed. And yeah, it's unfortunate. A lot of kids also don't. It feels like they're I want to say robbed of that stuff a lot of
Right.
times. You know, it's like we don't realize that that's a type of energy that we could tap into to help create and you know I guess you could even say manifest what we're trying, what's going on in our heads, and yeah, when you give kids the chance to do that stuff, I mean, they could come up with some amazing things, and they could really be helping the world right now, I think. And I'm sure there's some kids out there doing their thing.
That's the thing with my parents. It was always try it. Don't just sit there and be afraid or not want to take that chance. They were go getters. They were go ahead and do it. Even if you fail, you learn something, and then you learn how to do it better the next time the situation comes up. And my dad never punished us ever for willing to try, even if we did something wrong or did it the wrong way. It didn't end up in a good result all the time. He was never negative of us. He was always proud that we at least tried it. And okay, what did you learn from it?
Mm-hmm.
That's so cool. That's so neat. I was always taking things apart.
I was too.
And
But
my, I didn't, no one stopped me. It was like, the challenge was, can you put it back together and will it work?
Yeah.
that's Garrow would take things apart and put them back together. My thing was taking things apart and not being able to put it back together. So
And have extra parts. Uh-oh.
But to Garrow's point, you don't know until you try it. So the
Right.
fact that his parents were pushing him to try things is like the key, That's so cool.
So having said all that about our backgrounds and growing up and stuff, let's get into today's phenomenon experiences. What is there a video one of you guys want me to show first, either Dwarf or you, John? Or
here, let's have. Garrow was making me sweat earlier. I'm gonna try and share some of my stuff. It looks like I'm able to, and I should be able to pull it off. But John, you think you're ready to show something? John's always ready.
No,
I have John's file, so
all right.
Yeah,
Let's rock one of John's vids, so we get some get our
Okay.
So you want to just go in order, John?
Yeah, and
one through whatever.
If I could just preface the first one with a brief explanation to sort of kind of give people like a sense of things. So the reason this is the first one is because it gives some sort of background in terms of my connection that we were talking about before. So this is video from a security camera outside my house, and I was inside doing whatever, and I just had this powerful urge to check the app and look at the camera. Something was telling me look through the camera, and there's 8 cameras, and something was telling me to look at this one camera, and that had not happened before. And I sort of brushed it off initially, and it didn't go away. And so I checked it, and then there was this orb was dancing around in front of the camera, and so I basically kept looking at it periodically. I kept getting this. I looked at it and watched it and was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I'd go on about my business. And a half an hour later, the same thing happened. It kept happening. And I was texting with my sister, and eventually she said, listen, you lean into this stuff all the time. Why are you not leaning into this? Go out there. This thing is asking for you. Go out there. And so you're going to see the orb in the beginning, and then you'll see me out there. And on the top right of it, you'll see the time differential to see how long this was happening before I actually went out there. But it's one of those things where I couldn't see it with the naked eye. It was only visible in the infrared. And so I had to see it with my camera on the app on my phone. And I went out there, and then it monkeyed around and engaged me and then fluttered off. And so I started with that one because it was a kind of a big deal for me, where, the phenomena, or whatever you want to call it, kind of came knocking and got me.
Right.
So yeah.
Ready to show it?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right.
So yeah, you can see up there it's 11:05, and this is 3 years ago. And
Wow.
I mean, and it did this, and I have footage at 11:30, and then I had footage at 12 midnight, and it was just doing this nonstop, going back and forth. And by the way, I have my watermark across there only because I'm actually in the video, which is a little, it's kind of weird when you see yourself in videos. But
Right.
But I put a red arrow here eventually just to note the size of it, because once I get out there, you can see it's smaller, and so you can tell that it's moved back towards where I am. But this thing just danced around in front of the camera for an hour and a half. And then I eventually go back. I go outside after my sister urged me. You see, it's 12:30 almost, and now you see it's back there smaller. And I'm out there with my phone looking at it, and it's going up and down around me.
Can you see it through your phone?
Yeah, and I'm watching it through my phone, but I should mention, so I can't see it with my naked eye, but importantly, I can feel it. I could feel the energy of it.
Wow.
I could feel it around me. And it just went up and down my spine a little, and then it eventually, it just sort of, I moved away, and it was done with me, and then it sort of just, it fluttered off. But I mean, I can't underscore the amount of, I could feel the energy of it. Like it was causing my spine to like tingle and hum.
That's what's amazing. You got 2 cameras to prove. You got your security camera, and you saw it on your phone also at the same time. Now that's awesome. Wow.
Yeah, and that was over an hour and a half span of time, because it showed up around 11, and by the time I actually went out there, it was like 12:30, and it waited for me, and it was like calling me. And then after that engagement, I didn't have any urge anymore to look at my camera, but I had general curiosity. So then I kept checking until like 2 a.m, and I didn't see it again. It was done with me, and it left.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
So not a lens flare or anything like that. And do you feel like maybe it like scanned you or something like that? Maybe we talked about that before.
I mean, it could be. There's so much it could be. I have no idea. I just felt fortunate, to be honest with you. I felt like, I don't know why this thing came and got me, but it did. And a few people saw that, and they're like, "Oh, I get spider webs with debris caught on them in front of my camera all the time. Like, you're a fool." And I'm like, well, in addition to the footage, what I can't explain is the feelings I had. That was more. The footage is almost ancillary. Like, I would have told that story with no cameras. Like, like this thing called me to come outside my house. Like, that's the crazy part.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we have security cameras up all over our place too, to capture whatever animals, whatever wildlife or things in the sky. But when you see a spider, you start to recognize what a spider and a spider web, and how it glows and glistens and moves in the wind or whatever. That obviously didn't have no connectors going to it, or you didn't see the legs of the spider crawling on your camera, and you actually were out there moving and filming. So that just leaves out insects and bugs, because you couldn't see it with your natural eye.
Yeah, I couldn't see it at all.
Yeah, spider webs can do a strange thing, because I have watched our cameras enough to know when that is a spider web, and it can look like 2 eyeballs just bouncing in front of your camera. We've had someone text us and say, "Check out your camera, there's something going on." I already knew it was a spider web, because I was already watching it. Yeah, they can really mislead you to thinking it's an orb floating around, but it's a spider web.
Right. And I do get those periodically. I knew exactly what the gentleman was talking about, and I have to clean my cameras because of those things, like everybody.
Yeah, but, same here.
It's one of those things, like, you just know the difference. And, so.
Well, living in Illinois my whole life, and Jane also, we experience the winters and the cold and the temperatures. So we know when there's bugs and no bugs, and when birds fly and don't fly. And it's like when we capture these things at night at 17 degrees, no wind, snow falls already on the ground. It's like, and we capture these things, people always go, insects. Like, no, you need to come to Illinois at 17 degrees, and then feels like minus 13 or whatever, and tell us what you think is flying around out here.
You'll have them say, "Oh, that's already been debunked. That's your speed on your camera. You know, those rods of skyfish are not that long. Those are bugs." And I went, "Not when it's 17 or 0 degrees outside. I know darn well they're not bugs. And our cameras are not game cam or a door cam. These are actual real cameras that spin around. So you can actually, that means a bird would be long, and, you know, a bug is perfectly round and white. Well, they're not spreading out. So I know darn well they're not bugs when we do have bugs."
You tell them, Chi.
That's right. Get 'em.
And yeah, going back also to the feeling John was talking about, the certain feelings.
Mhm.
We've discussed on previous shows also, like that calling. Sometimes I'll get a feeling almost like something's calling to go outside and take a look, and before you know it, boom, something's going on out there. And it could be these, you know, strange anomalous objects in the sky, or if you're in the woods, it could be a, you know, something else. But I think there's something definitely to the feelings, your feelings.
Mhm.
Right.
So, yeah. And then what were we discussing here? Chi, yeah, and that could be discouraging when you get people who just off the bat will just be like, yeah, that's like you said, debunked, or it's bugs, or it's something, you know, just really quick. They don't you know, take the time to actually look in further themselves. I think they just automatically think like, all right, yeah, this can't be it. This can't be
Right.
going on, when it's the complete opposite. It is going on. It's a lot more going on out there than we
Right.
think, right? So
And we were like that at the very beginning too, you know, growing up or whatever. We were always out back looking up at the sky, and you know, a lot of times the light would go by, or whatever. So we're thinking, okay, Sputnik, it's a satellite, whatever, depending on what area you grow up in. So like when we first started filming stuff and paying attention to things in the sky, we were thinking, okay, that's a satellite, possibly. You know, we know what a plane looks like as it blinks in the night sky. But then the more we started becoming awake and aware of what's going around in our surroundings, it's like, no, I don't think that's a satellite, because I can see where the satellite path on my app is going, and it's not matching that, and it's at the wrong time of night for that one to fly by.
And they disappear or they power up real strong. And I'm kind of going, okay, satellites don't power up.
So when we were thinking worldly, or how we grew up, you know, or the way we were taught in school, you know, we automatically say, okay, that was a meteorite. That's a satellite, you know, whatever. That's an insect, you know, showing up, you know. But then we started thinking about it and start becoming, like you said, raising our vibrations and our frequencies. We're starting to realize, like, okay, there's something there. It's actually responding to us when we say hello, or Jane says I love you, and all of a sudden it flashes and dims down. It's like, I don't think that's a lightning bug in our backyard doing that up there in the sky.
I don't think it's anything negative or demonic. Why would they want to send you love?
You know, one of the other things too that I, again, going back to my childhood, I was fortunate that my parents were big believers in intention and visualization. And those are the two things, particularly as an athlete growing up, visualizing was a big part of like my life. And you know, the power of positive thinking and intention has totally carried over into this space for me, because there are places like my wife and I will go to Joshua Tree or Lake Arrowhead, and I'll go there and I'll verbalize it to her outwardly, my intention, and I'll tell her I'm going to see something, I'm going to have an experience, I can already feel it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And we've been together 17 years, so by now she knows, like, not to blow me off when she hears me say stuff like that. And invariably we have experiences, and you know, it's like one of those things you almost don't know if it's the chicken or the egg, but it's like, and would it have happened without my intention or not? But either way, and some of the things, you know, 90% of what happens to me I don't catch on camera, but you know, luckily in this era with this technology I can capture some of it. But that notion of intention and being open, you know, is I don't, it's hard to put a value or figure out how much of, you know, our lives are related in that way. But when you have somebody say, oh, that's just a bug, or it's just an insect, or that's just a whatever, they're sort of telling on themselves in a way. You kind of get a sense of who they are because you can just see how closed off they are.
Right.
And you're sort of like, well, I don't they'll say, well, I've never seen anything. And in your mind, you're sort of like, oh, I bet you haven't, because I mean, with this disposition, you're probably not going to, you
Right.
have to be open. And once you open up, the floodgates open, for at least that's what it seems.
So we were doing a live show late at night. It's our Night Owl Lounge. 24. We show our 24/7 cameras during that time a lot of times. And so this is one of the examples. It just got done being a snowstorm. It's like 17 degrees out, middle of winter, and we're seeing these things fly in front of our cameras. And people were chatting away, having fun with it and stuff. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go out. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to go outside in the backyard in front of the live camera. And I'm going to try to communicate or see if they'll interact with me. And while I was getting my overhauls and stuff on, Jane said she saw them all go towards the house.
And the chat. Yeah, he's in the kitchen getting ready and, getting his overalls and everything on. And the chat and I are going, you can just see them coming in from the field and coming into the backyard from the field. And so it wasn't just me. The chat knew. And then they just kind of disappeared. And it was kind of quiet when he was sitting out there until what we captured.
Yeah, so I'll show this video, but to preface this, we have a fire pit out by the field that we use during the fall and early spring and stuff. So I went out there and sat on that, and I had my arms up. And before this clip is shown, I was communicating with them. Okay, if you're out here, I want to hear from you. I want to see you. Come interact with me. And this is what happened during the live.
No breeze.
No breeze.
It was like
17 degrees out.
17 out. And you'll see it. Here it comes, coming in from the field right there.
Wow.
And then I was out there after and before. I don't know if I did it before, but I did it after. I went out with a flashlight during the live, so you can see. I shined it up in the air, nice big bright beam, so you can see if there's any bugs. There's no bugs flying around.
Dust.
There's no snow. There's no dust. There was nothing to my naked eye. I could see. The people in chat couldn't see anything in my beam, but yet that came out and flew by me, or close to me anyway, while I was sitting there. Okay, I want to experience you. I want to interact with you. So that would happen during one of our live shows.
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah, I like that one also. And again, there's that intention, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, I think intention is a lot to it.
Yeah.
And if you're in a bad mood, you're grumpy or you're down, you need to be in a happy, silly, bubbly, childish like mood also. I mean,
I wasn't out there very long either. That was only a couple minutes. And when I was sitting there saying, okay, I love you. I want to interact with you. I want to know what you are or experience you. And then all of a sudden, right by.
Well, your intentions started well before you were out there, though.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. They knew he was heading outside.
Yeah. That's really neat.
And I've experienced that too when I'm getting ready to let the dog out or something. I'm watching the camera and you see a lot of activities, like they're coming in from the field. And then you can actually see them go out too. All these orbs just heading out. And so it's like, how do you know that I was getting ready to let the dog outside? So I was going to be outside. Can we prove it? No.
So since we were talking about orbs, I'll show one more of ours, and then we'll get to your guys' stuff.
Is this Brown Dwarf's favorite?
This is Brown Dwarf's favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a fast one.
Yeah, I'll play
See that, John?
One.
Yeah, it's a skyfish going inside an orb.
So I'll get rid of that one, and then I'll play the slow motion one. But I wanted people to see the real time one.
Yeah, you don't see it go past. And within a couple seconds, you see something shoot out of it. Like whatever went in, did they kick somebody out?
So it's the same clip.
It's crazy.
This slowed down. Nothing else has been done to it.
John probably sees it, the regular motion and slow motion.
So here it comes. Goes inside. And then right there, you see something poof out. And then it goes in front of a tree and it just disappears.
Wow.
And I got that accidentally too, like you guys were saying.
That's the neat part right there where it.
Yeah, that's just crazy. But I was just going through checking out orbs, and I was trying to find still shots of like something inside orbs. And I saw that accidentally, and I went back and forth with my finger, and I went, "What was that?" And we just accidentally caught that just by going through footage. And so then I sent it to him, and he cut it out to make it just this part.
That's something.
So yeah, that's off of the ATN night vision binoculars. And I'll just put them on a tripod and just hit record and just walk away. And then I go back and just watch the footage.
Yeah. And it also, it looked like almost like something was like bouncing around inside when it penetrated.
Yeah.
I don't know, it looked like some toggling or something going on there.
And then you can see the thing poof out. Like, what'd they do? Kick them out?
Kick them out or energy, maybe energy released once the two got together. I mean, I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, to show the slow motion again.
Very weird. Yeah, one of my favorites for sure.
That's a great capture. I can see why it's one of your favorites. That's amazing. Thanks for sharing that.
So, John, do you want us to show another one, or Dwarf? You ready to show one of yours?
I can give it a shot. Let's go ahead and give it a shot.
All right.
You can do it, Brown Dwarf.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, we got some guests here too. Give me a second. Let's pull it up. And just a heads up, Garrel here, I'm about to share this, so I think you're able to control it on your end, right?
Yep, as soon as it pops up, yep, I see it. So go ahead and pick whatever.
We'll go ahead and start. Let's see. I didn't quite want that one, but all right, here we go. Here's one. But are you able to see it this time? No,
not yet.
No, okay, I think you took it down, so you gotta reshare it.
I got it. Let's see.
You got it.
You're
on it.
Boom.
There it is.
How about now?
Yep, I can see it. Are you ready?
Yeah, ready.
Ready.
All right.
Oh,
so
wow.
yeah, we get a lot of military aircraft by the shop, a lot of commercial airplanes, a lot of just traffic in the air. But this is one, is that an Osprey, I believe? And you could see what to me looks like one of these, some might describe it as saucer, but it's more like a rod also.
Yeah.
Call them. I know John has gotten some of these, and I wonder if these are, some of the same types of rods you guys are catching Midwest. Maybe just during the day. Yeah, I thought it was interesting. So I did a little scrubbing back and forth there. And yeah, it just goes to show the different types of objects, because this is more of a rare, these rod ones to me. I do have several, but they're a little more rare, I think, in my space. But yeah, very interesting one there. And they just seem also to be like the fast movers, which are these other types of objects we were talking about earlier. It seemed to like almost tag it as well, so
right,
that was in full speed there, pretty much almost impossible to see.
So if you just glance up at that during your normal day, you think, okay, that's just a helicopter, that's just normal helicopter, but you don't really see the thing darting in around or going zipping by it
until you slow it down. Right. That's how I accidentally caught some things. I'm slowing it down and watching and catching something, and you see a flash or something like, whoa, what was that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so I wanted to ask, has anyone adjusted, if you're using, like, let's say your phone, anyone adjusting like the frame rates, frame per seconds, or the quality of video? I recently learned to switch over to, I've been recording in HD now and 60 frames per second.
Right.
And before I wasn't, which I think maybe the quality may be a little better now, but has anyone tried adjusting their phones or anything else?
No, I've done that only recently. I've started adjusting, not necessarily for the video, but for like pictures. because when we were having those northern lights dip down into Illinois and southern US, I watched a video on how to adjust my Android phone. And it's like, you gotta be kidding me. Was that simple to turn down my aperture and all that stuff and be able to get a great, and you know, the stars were popping out behind and showing all the colors. And it's like, before I kept going out there, it's like, well, I'm not seeing nothing. And every time I take a picture, it's like, well, this is just dark. There's nothing there. And is that, yeah, stupid me. I got to put it in manual, and I got to actually set my film and everything up on the camera app itself. So it's like, then it started working out, and I'm assuming it's the same on video. John, what do you think? How do you do yours?
Yeah, you know, I had a friend of mine last, say, March or April, basically say to me, like, you need to upgrade your gear, bro. Like, because, you know, I'm just dealing with an iPhone, and it was an older iPhone, and it was 30 frames per second. So I got an iPhone, I got a 15 Pro Max, and then I monkeyed around. So the default setting is 60 frames 4K. So immediately when I open the camera, that's the baseline setting. And so things have kind of, you know, gone better since then. But I'll tell you too, I did something last summer and I shied away from it because I saw more than I was ready to see, which is weird to say and think, but somebody suggested or asked me if I ever film in slow-mo. And so I tried it, and I just, you know, and I was just filming around here, around my yard, and just, you know, and then I went through it and I scrubbed the slow-mo footage slowly, and I started seeing things that I'm like, okay, I
didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, so now there's this whole other world that I didn't even know about. That's things that are happening. And so it was like, it was just a little too much. I'm like, okay, well, this will be here whenever I'm ready for it. This was fun. And then I stopped doing it.
I usually don't use my
weird
phone.
Stuff.
That's a big psychological thing. I mean, just like when they were using the designing goggles in the military, I mean, there's a lot of those people that had to go get help and go through hours of psychiatric help just because of what they saw. Even though they can't see it no more, they know it exists and it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and the same thing when we had back in the 1800s, early 1900s, when we had all these mental institutions and people with gifts and people with special abilities were seeing these apparitions or, you know, loved ones popping in and out. And you try to tell somebody and people would deny it or say you're crazy. And then pretty soon you start thinking that you're crazy and these things exist. I mean, once you see that other world or step through that door, it's hard to unsee it. And that's a lot to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I sent a couple things to my parents, like, you know, like, hey guys, look at this. And my dad was like, what is that? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if I want to know. Like, it's just, but, you know, and I've said in my videos, like in the narration, I've periodically said that these iPhones and these high-end cameras are like microscopes. Like, the microscopic world has always been there. We just didn't know it until somebody invented a microscope and people had the inclination to use one and look into the microbial world. And then they were like, oh, all of this stuff is there, you know? And I feel like the same thing applies now, just in terms of slowing things down, so we can see things at a speed that our eye is not and our brains aren't geared for. And all of a sudden a whole new world is available to us.
Wow, I need to try that because all I mainly use is the ATN night vision binoculars and then our psionics. And then I have captured some stuff off of our Rio links, which is the cameras in the backyard. But I usually don't use my phone. Wow.
And John, I've been slowly upgrading myself little by little. I've been getting gadgets back. I had quite a bit of gadgets back in the day, and then kind of lost a lot of it. But slowly building my gear back up, and you know, I've been sharing when I receive stuff and testing it out and stuff. But yeah, I really do like the gadgets. I feel like they help. There's people that are completely not into it at all, and I get it too, you know. But yeah, it's fun when you're able to bring back some sort of data from that other side, or these other realms, possibly, these other dimensions, I don't know.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now that we've talked about this coming spring or maybe early summer, I'm gonna start getting some filters for our camera. I'm gonna pick one camera in particular that we see orbs and stuff, usually a good spot. I'm gonna start using like a red filter or a blue filter or even a nighttime
Hmm.
for stargazing. I'm going to try different ones to see, okay, does it make it a difference on my security camera and the footage we're getting? Are we able to see things, not see things? Does it make it better? Does it make it worse? So I'm going to try that technology. It's usually for 35 millimeter cameras, or, they have filters for your cell phone. So I'm going to try to adjust it and put it on our cameras that doesn't affect how it moves and motions and records, but that it'll be able to see through it. Maybe we'll see into a different a visual light spectrum.
Well, I think the rods and skyfish are interdimensional. You cannot see them with the flashlight or the naked eye. They're like 12, 15 inches long. You see them going right past the Martin house. You know darn well they're huge, but we can't see them with our naked eye. They've got to be some kind of an interdimensional being or something. They're different than orbs.
Yeah,
So
they
I
are
can
different.
play that one real quick. If anybody, I don't know, we probably have new people in chat, and I don't know if anybody's went to our channel and actually seen them. All these videos are up on our channel at Midwest Night Watchers on YouTube.
They got to scroll way down to find a lot of these.
So this is a combination. I clipped them out and put them all together just for the different things, or things I think are different from each other, that act different anyway. And it's what we're seeing on our live streams.
And they're definitely not bats.
Is that how much is that slowed down? But like what percentage, do you know?
Yeah, do you remember what you slowed it down to?
Not exactly, because I had it in a cap cut and I took it down, I think whatever it would allow me to without losing the integrity of the video.
Yeah. That's
So
really
yeah,
cool.
no way is that real time, because they zip by.
Yeah, they go by fast. But the bugs are definitely round when they go by. So these are something totally different.
But a lot of them you'll see it look like they have
lights or something too.
Fins, like they oscillate and change shapes as they go by.
Some call them flying ribbons because it looks like it's a ribbon spinning. And I've seen bats, tons of bats, and you can actually see the wings fluttering.
So that one really changes right there as it goes.
Yeah, right at the very end. Yeah, it changes right there. The very last frame.
It has feathers or multiple flutters, because this looks like it has up and down ridges, and then it gets to there. It's like, well, that's completely different than a second ago.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Yeah, and at some points it looks actually like a flying drill bit or something.
Yeah,
because you can see the ones that look just like rods. They don't, they're just plain, and then all of a sudden you get these weird things fly by. It's like, what is that?
And I recently got one of those very similar to one of these types. And I was doing the old little laser thing, which I usually don't use the laser, but I was like, you know what, let's give the laser a shot. And as soon as I went out and, of course, intention set already. And yeah, I zapped, did a few laser zaps and just straight into the sky. And sure enough, seconds after, this object, and it seemed like something like that zips on by. And then in the breakdown of it, yeah, it completely changes its shape. So there's that. People talk about the morphing of certain objects and these things being able to change shape or phase in and out of this what seems like this reality. I think this is good proof of this stuff, or evidence.
Yeah.
So are you ready to go to video number 2, John, or is there another one you want to pick out? Or
no, number 2's cool. It's good. And on that note, I was going to ask, because this is a video which I think it's neat and stuff, and it's different, and it's clearly nothing prosaic. But this was one of those things, and I've had this recurrent experience where it seems as though the minute I sort of acknowledge and see something, it's almost like it changes and decides after it's shown itself for a moment, and then it flutters off or it dims out. And I wonder if you guys have that experience too, like the orb you showed with the rod going through it. The orb eventually kind of disappeared there.
Yeah,
And I
it
was
totally
thinking, like,
disappeared.
a lot of the things I see and some of the things I capture, it's like it shows itself momentarily, and then once it's almost like it knows, and then it's like, okay, I'm done here. I've allowed you to see me.
Right.
And that's number 2 is one of those. So I think it's
Wow.
Jane experiences that all the time with lights in the night sky, and I've only had it one time, and I acknowledged it. I said I loved it. Hello, thank you for coming, and it just blasted me with a light, and then went dim, and then it kind of blinked one more time, and then it was gone.
Even the orbs, they will appear and disappear in front of the camera. Bugs don't do that. You will see them come straight up out of the ground and then take off, or they'll float along its top and go straight down into the field. Bugs don't do that either. But when they disappear right in front of the camera, it's just like, okay, we're, or they appear right in front.
Yeah.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
With my go ahead.
I was just gonna say, hopefully we get into the underground right quick. I know you got a good video, John, also that recently about these things, maybe some of these things coming from underground, some sort. But yeah, I'm ready to check this video here.
Yeah.
So you ready for me to hit play?
Yeah, go for it. So my methodology is to show it slowed and zoomed in, and then back out to real speed, and then sort of so people know what they're looking at. But like this is an example. I mean, this is slowed and zoomed in, but it's like once I was able to record it, it started to change a bit. But you can see it. It's like oscillating. It's like changing color. It's and the cameras doesn't do it justice in the first place. So I can't even. It's way brighter and way more dynamic in person. But I mean, it is what it is in terms of the footage. But this is obviously not an insect or a bird or a helicopter. But when you watch this is real speed. Or one more here, and this is real speed and real distance. And then it shot straight up and was gone.
Wow.
And so, was that a little fast mover towards the end there also that zipped on?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And
so this looks like those plasmoids or whatever they're calling them that they say the drones have been chasing.
Yeah, and this was like April or May of 2024. I mean, this isn't recent. So, this is just kind of my life. Like I capture these and see these things all the time. And I don't have explanations for them. But once I seem to capture it or acknowledge it, then it does that and kind of dims out and goes away.
Wow.
So, yeah. So
cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
there is one other one
that
I think I really want you guys to see and weigh in on, because I have no explanation for it. And it's number 5.
Number 5.
Number 5. All right.
Let's see. You get a drum roll here.
And when you see it in real speed, it's cartoonishly fast. But just watch this, and I really want to know what you guys think about this.
All right. Let me get it back to the beginning, and I'll bring her up.
So remember, zoomed in and slowed. Look at this.
Holy cow.
Wow.
It changes shape and gets long.
And it does this weird little teetering thing, right?
Yeah, like it did a backflip.
So it's almost like it's trying to create its own power to force itself to go forward.
It looked like it did a backflip right there, and then oh wow, that's an awesome catch.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Is that daytime or night?
Daytime. I have no clue what
Wow.
I just don't know what to make of it. But
Now,
Wow.
would one of those be? I know you've been and naming certain ones, and people have certain names for certain ones,
Yeah.
and we make some up. Is that like the cuttlefish type, or I know there's some you were
I mean, there's ones I call cuttlefish just because they change shape and color so
okay,
quickly.
okay.
This one, I don't. I mean, I just don't know what to make of it. I've never seen anything like it before. I've never captured anything like it myself, and I haven't seen anything like it online
Yeah, that's something
before.
new. Yeah.
I just, but it does not move like anything I've ever seen.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
So
So,
what was brought to my attention also, like John was talking about the slow recording in slow mo. Another thing, I don't know how on Android you would be able to do it. I'm sure you could, but I was shown how you could and it's not a full like confirmation of what these things are, but what's interesting, if you, and anyone could do this, if you could just screenshot these objects and then do like a Google lens search,
Right.
yeah, it's a
and
good idea.
you'll trip out on some of the stuff that comes up. There'll be some stuff that'll make no sense to whatever it is that you may be searching, but there is a whole lot of, more times than not, there's more interesting related things that'll pop up to what these things might be. So give that a shot, peeps.
So here's a short video that when I was putting the show together, that I got some of the plasmoids, as they call it, different types that people have been capturing. So I took the best of the best, or at least I thought were really great ones, from either New Jersey or across the US. So give this a look and check these out.
Hmm.
So these are all people that's filmed out their back door or out in the streets.
Some amazing footage.
Yeah, gnarly. Huh?
Yeah, it's really cool.
So obviously none of that is my footage. That's everybody else's footage that's been on social media and talking about, the drones and everything. Then all of a sudden these things show up and it's like, okay, how's that connected? And, people are thinking the drones are chasing these plasma balls or plasmoids and trying to figure them out. So I don't know. They're just amazing though, aren't they?
They are. They are.
Yeah, and yeah, it makes me wonder what kind of gadgets or devices they were using to capture some of that stuff. It looks really cool.
A lot of it, I think, is just people's phones. Honestly, I mean, just like
Wow.
we're doing, but they just, for whatever reason, they're either got it focused right or zoomed in just right. Where I sit there and I fumble around trying to get whatever I get.
Mhm. All
Hey,
right.
so Dwarf mentioned the ground, and which sort of brings up that transmedium concept, right? Of things coming in and out of the water
Right.
and in and out of the ground too. And so I was mentioning that behind me is Catalina Island, and then on the other side this way are the San Gabriel mountain range. And so NASA JPL is in the same mountain range, about 10, 11 miles away from me. And then on the other side of the mountains is the California High Desert with Palmdale, Lancaster, and all of the defense contractors. And so the sky around here, like I was mentioning, is just full. There's a lot of weird stuff happening, but it isn't just the sky. And Gerald, if you can play number 6,
Yes.
there's some footage that I captured where these things do not have any obvious sign of propulsion. They don't have any wing structure that would explain stabilization ability. And they're moving at speeds that are almost inexplicable. Not almost, they're like cartoonishly fast. And again, it comes down to us having these tools, meaning the iPhone, to slow things down and see them. But this stuff is happening right in front of our faces, and we just don't know.
Right.
So I think number 6 is some pretty cool captures from the mountains behind my house.
And I have been harping on those areas, John.
Whoa.
And once you see it in real speed, look at this.
Wow.
I mean, and then I slow it down again, but I don't know how that's moving. And then look at this one. I mean, straight up, just it's like it came out of the mountain.
Right.
And in real speed, I mean,
Wow.
there's
Double wow.
Yeah.
and so, when one of the more recent whistleblowers, Jacob Barber, was talking about things coming out of mesas and coming out of ridges and mountains, I was like, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, because I've seen it. I've captured footage of these things doing this.
There's almost like a hologram in front. I'm hearing that here lately also, of them coming straight out of the mountains, but you can't see anything. So are they using a hologram to cover up the entrance?
Well,
Yeah,
just
it's
like
almost yeah.
USOs, they go in and out of the water so fast, and everybody that's ever dove in water from high heights or speeds or anything, you know how hard water is when you first make contact with it, or how hard it is. So it makes me wonder if they're dimensional. Are they able to fly through the water or come out of the earth or the mountains, and it doesn't affect them at all because they're in their own bubble or frequency or dimension, and it's like it's not even there? Just like a ghost would walk through our physical wall, to them it's not there. It doesn't affect them one way or another. So are these UFOs, all these orbs, are they the same way? Because we've experienced orbs that look like they come straight out of the field.
Yeah, like, I think you're right. I think that's what it is. I mean, it's hard to come up with any other conclusion,
right?
Other than our physical world doesn't apply to them.
Right. Yeah. I think our theories, I think our theories of relativity and our laws of dynamics, I think they all need to be upgraded and changed, because obviously these things don't go by what we go by.
Yeah. Like Newtonian physics apply to us. But that's it.
And I wanted to also mention that, some of us know Dr. Robert Shipe, Custodian Files on YouTube. There's a thing that he's been focusing on, and it's the Jetty Rocks. And he's also near us here on the coast, actually towards, I guess you could say, on your way to Catalina, if you're to head out that way, I think it might be. And he's focused on these Jetty Rocks, like they're somehow coming out of the water or the rocks there, which kind of once again reminds me of this. And what was there? There was something else also it's just, the whole underground thing has really been on my mind lately, and it's cool that we're touching on this, and other people are, because for some reason I've just been like, what's going on under us right now?
Yeah. I mean, when I thought about, people talking about Mount Shasta, Mount Adams, and they see the doors opening up, or they say, UFOs come out of them. Well, maybe that's not always the case. Like Jane said, could there be a hologram that looks like the mountain, but yet the doors behind it are opening so they can just zip through? Or are they actually a dimensional thing, like we were just talking about, John, and Bigfoot? Where are they dimensional, where, okay, the mountain is solid, they're just transversing through it without any problems?
Well, same at ECETI, that door that opens up, that people, down there at the ranch or whatever can see it. That door is not always there. It's just once in a while they see like a door opening up on Mount Adams, and they see it up there. So it's not always there. So, I mean, is this hologram technology? We don't know.
Last year, I was thinking it was sort of just like a thought game, but I was thinking about how many movies are turning out to be more of documentaries.
Right.
It seems like The Abyss is more of a documentary than it was fiction. And then Men in Black seems like that's, and maybe Hellboy for the people that want to look at. I mean, there's so many. And the reason I bring it up, Jane, is because what you're describing is from Black Panther. Yeah. And the whole Wakanda was covered with a hologram, and so you couldn't see it, and then you look like you'd be flying into the mountain.
Yeah.
And so now I got to add Black Panther to the list.
Yep, exactly.
And Gerald mentioned Shasta is another thing, is that these volcanoes also seem to be a thing. John also recently touched on something having to do with volcanoes, with some footage he broke down, and What's up with
Yes,
these
that's
volcanoes?
the other thing. If they have a base inside of a volcano, or they're able to go through those temperatures or lava, even if it erupts, you see them coming out of the volcanoes. It's like, okay, so obviously their technology and their structures of whatever their vehicles are, obviously are way beyond ours, because I can't imagine a jet being right there in hot lava and not doing very well.
Well, you see them going
Yeah.
in and out of the sun. So they're saying the sun's a portal. You can see these UFOs going right in and out of the sun. Yeah, they're not melting.
Yeah, I've seen what looks like sun. I call them sun orbs too. I mean, I don't think it's lens flares or anything, but yeah, sometimes
Right.
if you point at the sun, you'll get these orbs.
Right.
Yeah, so definitely, and they seem to be coming out of the sun.
Our good friends, Jessica the Cryptid Huntress and Barry Littleton, they've discussed that many times, where the sun is actually a portal where they can go into the sun. We think they'll burn up, but they're just like we're talking about UFOs going in and out of mountains. It doesn't
Yeah.
affect them. That sun, that high heat doesn't affect them, and because they're just going through another dimension and zipping out into another universe to another sun. So they're going using the suns as portals to go from our galaxy to another galaxy to another galaxy, almost like a wormhole system.
Yeah, what's that song by Soundgarden? Black Hole Sun.
Black hole sun.
And then that gets into the whole occult. I think there's a whole occult thing with the special Germans and the Black Sun, and yeah, possibly these certain crafts and
Right. I mean, as long as civilization's been around, there's astrology and astronomy that it plays effects on their cultures, and not that they're wrong. I mean, there's a lot of connections between that. I mean, we see it all the time. The more we dig in, the more it's like, what is going on with this stuff? This is real. This is actually connected somehow. I mean, I don't know the answers, but it's like I can see a connection.
The more you dig, more
Yeah.
questions we come up with.
Gero,
What do you
is it
find?
possible? Is it possible for you to well, that one video that I sent you that I labeled miscellaneous,
Yes, I have it.
were you able to open that and play that one?
Yes.
Okay, because I was hoping, and then I'll kind of yield on the videos, but I want to make sure everyone gets to see these two, basically the miscellaneous one and then the last one, because it ties directly to what we're talking about.
So you want miscellaneous first?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So this one just has like an ominous vibe to it, but there was this like black like blob type orb, and it was separating and going from 2 to 1 to 3. And again, you'll see the same mountain range that these other ones are just coming out of. It's the same ones, but I mean, it's
Nope, that didn't change anything. All right. I was trying to make it as big as possible for everybody to see. Yeah, I don't think it's not going to get any bigger than that. All right, we'll play that.
That's okay. I mean, yeah, but you see, it just starts.
Oh, I do see the double.
See how it's like separating and coming in
And
and
another
out?
one. Oh my goodness.
And then right at the end, a fast mover goes by this whole thing right at the, well, that doesn't even matter. But this thing is kind of like, it just left me feeling icky.
Oh, wow.
It looks like they're changing. Not only are they multiplying or coming out of each other, but they're actually changing shapes as they're flying.
Yeah, no, they absolutely are. That's why I call them blobs, because
wow.
it's like they're like moving around. And so, and a lot of like friends of the channel and viewers saw this and were sort of not put off, but a lot of people felt like it was demonic. And, I don't know if it is or isn't, but what's interesting is if the reason I wanted you to play this one first is because this next one, number 9, there's one of these things is going up, and it sort of just came out of, I don't know, it seemed like it came out of the ground and it was just going up. And then a white orb comes out of nowhere on path to intersect it. And it didn't affect the black blob orb, the white one just disappeared and the black one kept going up.
Is this number 8? I have 1 through 8, then I have miscellaneous.
Yeah, that's number 8.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know
And
what
this-
had my attention? Excuse me, really quick. Those power lines. I wonder if anything you ever thought of those power lines? Maybe.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah, it's a good thought. But yeah. And the way I did this with number 8, I started kind of zoomed out so you can see how far away this actually occurred. But and so this is how far away it is, and then it zooms in, and you'll see at the very bottom this little black thing.
Oh yeah.
I don't see it playing, but is
Yeah,
it
is it-
playing for you? Oh, there.
Yeah, it's plain.
Okay.
Oh wow.
So you see this white one just came out of nowhere, and it was
Yeah.
on track to intersect the black one, and the black one just continued going. And I don't know what to, like all of these things, I don't know what to make of it, but
Did it go inside of there?
On my end, it almost looks like the white one dips inside that
Yeah.
cloud.
yeah,
Either the
no, I
cloud or
agree.
inside of that.
And then this is the black one. It just continued on until it went off screen, like went up into the,
Wow.
It either went in the
And-
cloud or it went inside the one going up.
Yeah, I don't
Oh
know.
wow.
And this again, a lot of my viewers saw this and thought, or their reaction was, this was good versus evil, or this was an angel versus a
Okay.
demon. And I don't have any answers, but all I do is encourage people to comment because I want to hear what other people have to say. And this is just fascinating. But this happened. I mean, this happened right in the sky, and I happened to capture it. But it makes you wonder what else
Right.
is happening.
I mean, we hear all the time, about these other videos out in New Jersey where they'll see like bright lights in the sky, like they're having wars, or like, so maybe it is good versus evil, maybe. Or could that black one be a bigger ship and it's picking up a drone or something that's surveying the area, picking it up and taking it off up to wherever it needs to go?
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't know.
Recently, there was
Questions.
a video that I shared. My brother shared with me, and it's an old video about 10 years ago. And I think I shared it with everyone on the panel here. And it was this orb in some of the sky farts. And you guys know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah.
And it was a bright white orb, and it seemed to be almost like following something, and then it began to what looked like shoot something, almost like it was shooting something. And the thought of like this battle came to mind. And yeah, we've heard of possible wars of things and beings, and but yeah, that was a real fascinating video. And then there's more footage that I've been seeing as of late, and now like that, where the question comes up is like, yeah, there's some sort of battle going on here, just like you're piercing the orb video clip. And John, I've gotten some of those similar black type objects before. I don't think I got any to share here for tonight, but I definitely got some of that stuff. So very odd.
Yeah,
Wow.
they are odd, and they, like Garo said, they change shape. I mean, I don't know, I don't know what to make of it, but that's definitely what the camera is capturing, is shape shifting, literally shape shifting.
Right.
It does remind me of the old movie The Blob, although that movie, it was on the ground moving and changing form, but this is up in the sky like a black goo.
Yeah. You know what? It's a funny segue, but as it happens, so my dad is an actor, and he in the late 80s they remade the original Blob with Matt Dillon's brother. I think his name is Kevin Dillon, and a few other people. Anyway, my dad was in that movie. He shot a lot of it in Louisiana.
Oh
And,
wow.
Yeah, so the Blob is near and dear to me.
Trip out.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
those are some of the stories. See, that's a Hollywood or LA story. You hear stuff like that out here. It's like, oh yeah, my dad, or so and so, or that was filmed. I love it.
So having said that, that's just awesome that you have a connection to movies in Hollywood and your dad. That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's cool.
But I always preface all this talk about if anybody knows Dan Aykroyd or Sammy Hagar, please get me their information because I want to hear their stories. I want to interview them, or at least just talk to them personally. I don't care if they even come on the show. I just want to talk to them and hear their stories.
Yeah, they definitely have stories. I mean, I haven't spoken with either of them, but I'm very much aware of what you're aware of.
Yeah.
And they've seen some things and know some things. Yeah.
So, Dwarf, do you have another video to share, or do you guys want
Yeah,
to
let's give it a shot.
Videos I have of the LA fires.
Yeah, let me try to pull another one up here.
All right. So, yeah,
you got all of John's done? Stuff. You got all of John's videos done?
We got more of John's to show if you want to show them.
All right.
So yeah, we do have more.
And just a heads up, Garrel, I'm about to hit share here. So
all right.
Oh, whoops. Nope.
I see a black screen.
Yeah, it didn't pull it up. Let's see here.
So thank you everybody in chat for coming and hanging out with us. We got more stuff to share, and
well, someone's asking, what did Sammy Hagar see?
Well, I'll just go ahead and while Dwarf is figuring out his video, I'll just tell you that I love Van Halen. I grew up in the 80s. Obviously, I graduated in 1982 from high school, and I really loved Van Halen. That's not necessarily my all-time favorite, but real high on the list. And they have this song, Love Comes Walking In. And I was just rabbit holing, looking at music videos, whatever. And I saw a live performance of Sammy and Eddie doing a benefit. And they said, well, let's play this song and we'll do it the original way. And Sammy speaks up and said, this is about an alien abduction. And it's like, what? No, this is supposed to be like a love story. This isn't. And then I started looking at the lyrics, and it starts off with contact. And then you just go through, and as Sammy, if you listen to Sammy's interviews on other people's shows, he talks about the connection with the aliens, and they had like this ribbon that transferred emotions and stuff back and forth. And it's like if you read the lyrics, it's all in that song. It's like I thought it was between a boy and a girl and a love song, and here it's about his connection with the aliens, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's amazing.
Trip out. Yeah, so I'm ready here, Garrel.
All right, go ahead.
I don't see it.
Let's see.
It is. Okay.
All right, I see it now. Yep. Is there want me to share it right now?
All right. So really quick, this is with the Psionics Night Vision. I believe I have the same one as Garrel.
Psionics Aurora.
Yeah, we got to get John one also.
Oh yeah, John, you need to get a Psionics. Oh my.
Yeah. And then so this is outside of the house, so I do get activity outside of the house as well. And this particular night I've gotten these types of objects before, but this night it really looked like a triangle craft to me. So it could be the TRB3 or I think I said it right there. But so it could be something that's R-Tech. Or it could be something else. Some people described it as maybe several drones in the shape of a triangle. I don't think it's birds, but yeah, you could go ahead and run that, Garrel.
It's on your end. You have to
and just a heads up. I'll try to stop it towards the end because I did like flash my phone to the Psionics and it did cause some crazy lights to go off. So just a heads up, anyone, if they flashy lights bother you, we'll try to cut it before that. So here we go.
And just a note, not a lot of birds fly at night.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
Oh yeah.
And so there's no audio there, I think, but it's all good.
Did you hear anything when you were recording
there
that?
It goes.
No, totally silent.
Wow.
And for some reason I don't think it was visible with the naked eye because I didn't see anything, but as soon as I put the night vision up to my eyes, when I spotted it and hit that record button, and thank goodness I was able to at least get that. So yeah, that was a fun one. And like I said, they passed by before in the same area, more or less the same. I don't want to say exact same time, but it's usually around 11, nighttime, 11, midnight, 1, 2. And this is right above Los Angeles. And
that
yeah,
thing was
moving
moving
fast.
fast at the beginning. You can see how
oh yeah,
fast it was going.
yeah. And in other clips, it's been pretty slow, like as far as the speed of it. There's I was recently sharing one of the clips that I found, and it was just moving really slow, and I think it's the same object, but yeah, just a little different flavor of craft there. I know people like their triangulars and some like their orbs, and so just a little different there. And should I pop another one up right quick?
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
go
let's
for
see
it.
what else we could. Let's see what this is. All right, so this is a picture here. Let's see. Y'all seeing that there?
Yep,
Let's
I'm
see.
seeing it. You ready for it to come up?
Yeah, we're ready. And so that's just a still shot, and it reminds me. I mean, I don't think it's a fast mover. It could be, but it almost looks metallic in a way with some black in it. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But it's zipping by super fast, and there is some footage. Let's see if I could find that one with it actually also tagging some of these military choppers. Give me 1 second. I didn't name any of the videos, but
So who knows what you're going to pull up?
yeah.
might be a surprise to all of us.
Yeah, watch out. Heads up. All right. Well, speaking of Catalina, I'm ready, girl.
All right.
John was talking about Catalina. This is my first trip to Catalina. Of course, the intention was there. My brother and all the family were on the boat, and on the way over to the island, and we were able to capture this, what to me looks like one of these orbs. And yeah, I was just like, hoping to see something. And sure enough, it happened along the way. And once we got to the island, I did have a couple more sightings that I didn't record. But I know John has an interesting bit of information on Catalina since he has so much history there. Maybe he'll share with us.
Wow.
Sure. What time of day did you capture that, though?
That was in the morning. So we were on the way over. You can see it was pretty cloudy. Not much of the sky was visible. And luckily, that little part there happened to open up. And the object seems to be like under those not clouds. They're probably, who knows if those clouds are real. And yeah, I don't know. I happened to be looking up right at that point, and it popped out right there. And like it happens so many other times,
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. So what Dwarf was referring to with Catalina, and I'll make it quick, is basically growing up here in LA, I went to a camp. My sister and I both went to a camp every summer on Catalina Island, and we'd be gone for 2 weeks. And the first time that I recall experiencing and seeing things were at Catalina, because out there's no light pollution, particularly in the 1970s, versus the LA basin where all it is light pollution. And so we get out there, and all of a sudden it's like the sky opened up. You see things you're not used to seeing, and I would just be staring at the sky all night, basically. And so I would, see things moving around and stuff. But I also would spend a lot of time snorkeling and spearfishing. And so I saw orbs, for lack of a better word, underwater, coming in and out of the water and going into the cave system, which is underwater in Catalina. And kind of going back to the beginning of our time today, we're talking about that sort of childish youth where you just accept what you see, and society hasn't like beaten it out of you yet. So I just knew and understood that like there's crazy stuff. And I first kind of got that at Catalina Island, where I see these like bright, like welder's torch bright things flooding around in the water, and then going in and out of these cave systems. And I actually went into the cave system once, which was super dangerous, but I was like 8, so I didn't know any better. And it took some like gumption. Like I tried a few times and then chickened out, and then eventually went for it. And there were air pockets underneath the cave, and I lucked out. But these things were coming in and out and just going all around. And so, yeah, and so I've just, that's sort of between that and then looking up at the sky and seeing all of these things, it's just been a given, and that's sort of like going back, that's like my foundation. Like, of course, all this stuff is out there, like I saw it. So yeah, Catalina is a special place, like Shasta, Sedona, some of these other places, you went to Basin maybe, there are places on this planet, and I don't know if it's ley line related or what, but for I think that there are certain areas that are special, and Catalina seems to be one of them.
So you talk about bright torches, they light up the sky and stuff. I have a short clip of what happened during a wildfire in LA, and it kind of describes that. It's not zipping out of the water as far as I know. This is just in the sky. They could go in the water, but this video doesn't show that. But so this is not my video. I found this online just to preference this. So it's what's spreading around out there.
Oh, I haven't seen this one.
So I have no idea what those are or what it is, but it's a great capture, whatever it is. And it seems like it goes right there to where the fire is on the edge and in and out.
And it's like they're swimming.
Yeah, I mean, they're sailing right through, no problems, nothing affects it once. I mean, I can imagine the heat rising off of that fire zone. I mean, that's why helicopters and planes are so high up, or they come in so fast and they dip down, then go back up. But these things were just like straight and.
Actually, I have a subscriber who goes by Twin Powers, and he's the one who told me about the Google searching the objects and stuff. And he recently, he hasn't tapped in, and I believe he might be somehow tied to, I don't know if he works on a military base or not, but yeah, he's very aware of these objects, and I haven't heard from him in a while. And I recently got a message of him telling me to check out the objects in the fire situation. And I don't know if he wasn't, if he was aware or not, but we had been touching on it. And he was saying something about them like using the fire heat source as like some sort of energy, and which reminds me of the volcano situation again. And yeah, I wonder. I hadn't seen that particular clip there as well, and I'm wondering if anyone picked up anything on the last the Hughes fire. Anyone get any footage out of that or see anything?
I haven't gotten anything from it yet, but I do have the Eaton fire. And this was on live coverage on the news that had that darting.
That's the one that I saw. Yeah.
And it looks similar, like the other two, like doing that swimming action almost looks the same.
So there you can see it right here. They did a still shot for us. That's the clearest picture out of that whole video, because it's kind of grainy, but then they screen captured whoever took this video right there.
I just want to interject something that's technically off topic, but not. So those are my mountains.
Oh, really? They are?
Really?
Yeah. And the Eden fire is the fire that took my mom's house. And I want to thank you both, because you guys showed up so much in terms of, amplifying the GoFundMe and talking about it on your shows and in the chats. And Blazer has been great with posting the GoFundMe. I just want to take a moment and just acknowledge that and tell you how much it's genuinely appreciated. And, we've obviously never met. We're in different states. We're new to each other, even online. And you guys just stepped up so much. And it was so meaningful, because there are people in this community that had that opportunity and chose to ignore it. And you guys weren't those people. And it's truly heartfelt. And I just want to thank you. And I want to say it publicly for everybody to hear that was big of you guys. And it's genuinely appreciated.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. You got me crying on a live show.
Yeah, I mean, we care about everybody. Obviously, everybody in our chat, we consider personal friends, that they show up all the time, and people we meet online, just like we're just hanging out. We consider both of you great friends of ours.
Yeah.
And anything we can do to help somebody, we're going to do if it's in our power. And just the mention to get it out there on other people's, it's going to get it in front of people that might not know how horrific these fires are, or maybe they do, but everybody has a personal situation they're going through, and we just happen to have that connection with you and Bigfoot and not Robin M and Heidi Hop. And so if they have GoFunds that are personally attached to them, and of course we're gonna spout it out just like we would if anybody if we knew from North Carolina or Florida. So it's our pleasure to bring attention to that if we can.
Yes.
What little we can do, that, I mean, that's the very least we can do, is at least mention it and hope somebody in our chat will donate or pay attention to it.
Well, you guys are salt of the earth people, and that shows in actions, not words, and you guys acted, and it's appreciated. And thanks, Blazer, for putting it in the chat. And you mentioned Heidi Pop.
Thank you, Blazer.
Same thing. And so, yeah, I mean, not everybody steps up when they have the opportunity. And so it speaks to who you are as people. So I think it's amazing.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
So having said that, I didn't actually put the GoFundMe, but I have your channel for that, and I know they've been putting it in chat. So if anybody can go to Latchkey Hustle, and you can see the tribute video to Latchkey's parents' house.
Yes.
And the GoFundMe is also listed in that description. And
I warn you, you will probably cry watching that video.
And we also
think you'll cry watching it. Try making it.
Yeah, I know. I can't imagine a childhood home or something that you've grown up in your whole life that's gone. So
yeah, my heart just broke when I heard that your mom lost her house like that. I couldn't imagine.
That.
So everybody in chat, if you haven't already subscribed, go to Bigfoot Dwarf or Brown Dwarf 4200 on YouTube. And if nobody is in chat has first seen Latchkey Hustle on YouTube also, please go there. And like I said, the tribute video for his parents' house is there. And in the description of that video is the GoFundMe to help out his parents relocate and try to get their life back together again.
Thank you very much. Thanks. So I was wondering. Go ahead.
Excuse me. I was going to say, how trippy that those are your mountains, and on the news during that, all that's happening.
Oh, yeah.
Getting objects and stuff.
Yeah. What are the odds of finding that video and putting it up?
Yeah.
Wow.
If you want to play number 7, Garrel, I think that for me that would be a good one to end on in terms of footage. I think people would enjoy it, and it kind of goes back to the concept of intention that we were talking about, because it starts out with a video that I captured at Joshua Tree, and there's this gigantic orb, and I was recording it, and also out there is 29 Palms Marine Base. It's a gigantic military base out there, and as it happened, while I was recording this orb, an airplane came into view. And so it's great because a lot of people would see the footage and say, oh, that's just an airplane. But because the plane came into view, you can compare them and see they're clearly apples and oranges. And you'll also see that the orb actually backs up a little as the plane goes by. It like hesitates and then it continues on. And so that was last year. I captured that in 2023. And then fairly recently, I experienced this gigantic triangle. More of like a pyramid type thing out here. And I don't know how to explain it other than to say it was huge and just seemed like all energy. And they were very similar. But because this was captured with an iPhone 15, you can actually see the structure better. And the first one was an iPhone 13 from last year in Joshua Tree, but I put them next to each other so you can see.
So these were pyramid shapes in the sky.
I think they might have both been, but the second one was definitely. But you could. So I was recording this, and then you'll see a plane, and you see it that hesitate as this, and that was a plane that goes by it.
Yeah.
You can see it backs up like.
Oh yeah.
And the colors that it was running through and the amount of energy it was putting off was just amazing. And so you can see the one on the right, you can tell that there's this pyramid type structure to it.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and
I'm hearing reports of pyramids. Interesting.
Yeah, it's and that was just, that was in the end of November. And people in the comments in this video are asking me about size, and I told them it's hard to tell size and distance with these things, but the feeling I got was like it was the size of like a city block, like an IKEA footprint. I mean, it is just gigantic, and it was running through this color scheme, just emitting so much energy, and it's, and like Dwarf will tell you, anyone, we all know, we know our own sky, and we know what helicopters and airplanes look like in our sky.
Right.
And so, and this was not one of those. And the other thing about that is, like we were saying before, once I saw it and started recording it, it like let me see it for a minute, and then it dimmed out and was gone. The pyramid. So
wow.
But yeah, and the fortuitous nature of this airplane going by was really helpful for this capture in Joshua Tree, because you can see one's an airplane and one isn't.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can see it jerk back and stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So thank you for sharing all of the videos, this one and all of them.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
I mean, this like we always preference. I have no idea what any of this is, but that doesn't mean that I don't enjoy it and have the wonderment of amazement that these things exist and are showing themselves to us.
Right, exactly. I totally agree with you. And like I say, I don't have any answers, but all this stuff leaves us with more questions. But wonderment is a great word for it. But yeah, I agree with you.
Wow.
Could we give John one of these?
What's that?
You're not hearing it. I'm giving you a round of applause here.
It was starting to come through.
It was starting to a little bit.
It delayed there a bit. It's all good. No, thank you for sharing. Super cool stuff. And I know John has so much more over on his channel. It was just a little tiny sliver. It was good.
I think all of us, all three of our channels. I mean, we've got tons of years ago. I mean, we've got the little roof feather fairy things that are moving around in the room and stuff. And I've got power ups. I've got the Big Dipper videos, and you guys got probably years worth also. You can just binge watch. Go to all three of our channels, just binge watch.
Oh yeah, and I know sometimes it's a little difficult. We're all working on our own stuff, so sometimes we don't get to catch up with our stuff. But I try to as much as possible. And I don't know, Gerald, maybe could do you know anything about sharing playlists? I've heard of people doing that on YouTube, where you
sharing what?
Playlists. So if I have a playlist of let's say all my UFO stuff, I could share that playlist. You could share it on your channel and vice versa. Like
so
if you
there's
have
an actual link for the playlist.
I believe so. So maybe
now I go when we're on guest shows. So me and Jane will go to somebody's show. We can go to that video and add it to our playlist. I know that for sure.
Yes, and then I've heard something else quite different. I'll look into it and
I didn't know you could share the whole playlist.
Yeah, I believe you could share a whole playlist.
All right, well, I will find that.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah, that would be cool. So we could. I would love to share. Anyone,
we need
playlist.
We need to break ours down in the playlist. Like all the roof feathers, all the power ups, all Big Dipper. We need to do that in the different playlists, right?
Yep, there's so much organization I need to do, and that would be a good idea. And which I'll also hopefully I could get another vid up here and find the one that I'd like to share. Is that cool with everyone?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah,
let's see.
we're getting ready to wind her down. We've been almost 2 hours now, but so if you got another video to share, we can stick that in.
And the same with us, girl. Can you get the last one I uploaded of the Big Dipper called the 10X? You know, the one that's actually 10X speed. Can you find that while he's doing this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Chi, get it ready. Or Carol, get it ready.
I'm learning. I'm slowly learning how to share.
So are you ready, or you want me to show this one first?
I'm not quite there yet, girl.
That's all right. Take your time.
Cool.
I just didn't know if you wanted me to play this video while you're doing that, or if you're there on the cusp of it.
No, not that one.
Sasquatch report. I just saw it go behind you.
Uh-oh. Maybe it didn't load it. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, here we go. All right. All right, I'm ready to share here, girl. Ready?
All right, I'm ready as soon as it pops up.
Yeah.
All right, I see her.
Here we go.
You ready?
Yes, sir. I think I had
to it's all
play.
you.
All right, here we go. Play. And so keep an eye out for the chopper and towards the front of it. Eyes peeled, folks.
Towards the front of the chopper.
Yes. Give it a minute here. I could hear it. The chopper's coming. A lot of times you'll feel it.
Oh, and, yeah.
There it is.
There's times I feel it before I can actually hear them outside. Oh, wow. Front of the chopper.
Eyes peeled. Here we go.
I don't want to blink.
Ooh.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You see, and that kind of reminded me almost of those black objects. You know, you get those, John. I think you yeah. So there's
It almost I mean, from the point of view and going by so fast, it was hard for me to imagine or see whether it actually went through the propellers or was in front of it, behind it. It was so fast.
Yeah, so I've broken that one down. I used that one in my little intro that I put together. And yeah, when you break it down, it seems to just like dip right in front of the tip of the chopper and just like whoop, and then take off.
I see some flashes behind you, John. You getting ready to get the storm?
Yeah, it's raining. It's already raining.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. You're
not getting rained on, are you?
Oh no, I'm under my patio cover. I was just concerned about the sound, but if you couldn't hear the rain, then this is good.
No.
Yeah, no, we can just hear you. Well, congratulations
we'll
on getting
one
rain.
more video on our end, and we will just say a goodbye to everybody, and we'll let you guys give out your websites and your YouTube channels and all that good stuff. So we'll end with this.
All right.
And then we'll be back to say,
since it was a request by Jane, I guess we have to play it.
I hope it's the 10X one, right?
10X Big Dipper.
All right, so you can see where the Big Dipper is, and you will see these things just appearing and just disappearing before they leave. Look how many there is, John.
Wow.
And that lasts for an hour. Just them coming in, powering up, and then disappearing.
Wow.
Now, the planes, you can tell what are planes. And this is 10X speed. This is a 29-minute video shot down to like 3 minutes.
So there's a plane, obviously.
So this is a half an hour's worth. And you can just see them coming in, powering up, and then just fade out, disappear.
Looks like Starlink's been scrambled.
Yeah, well, it's definitely not Starlink. So what I'm saying is, could these be orbs and plasmoids? We don't know if this is metal ships. Could these be orbs coming in?
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I don't just power up and then they disappear. They're not going all the way across the sky. And so that's what happens for an hour every night for about 6 weeks. That many coming in.
What time of year?
Same time of year. Second week in August until like the third week of September. And I can't explain it. It's happened 3 years so far.
And when we're on shows or we show the video, we talk about it, but I don't ever hear nobody else talking about it. Nobody else is grabbing the ball and running with us. So we try to tell everybody, okay, start looking towards the Big Dipper and tell us what you guys are seeing. Anybody that's got a camera or out in the backyard checking things out, let us know if it's happening at different times of the year or the same time that we're seeing it.
But the thing is, you can only see the real bright power-ups by the naked eye. You're not seeing all these. This is the psionics. You see so much more through a psionics, but you will. I mean, that's what caught my eye. I saw a couple with my naked eye, got the psionics out, saw how many was over there, and I about crap my pants. Like, oh my
That's
gosh, what's
amazing.
going on? So these, you cannot see this with the naked eye.
Right.
You can just see the real bright power-up ones. But we can't explain it. Like I said, they could be orbs. We don't know. With all this plasmoid stuff that's been happening, I mean, they could be orbs coming in. Light shifts, light beams. I don't know.
Between things moving slowly and then like not in the visible light spectrum for us as humans, it's like there's so much going on that you don't even see.
Right.
And then it takes like a psionics and then you 10xing it to see the movement. But to me, that's unbelievable footage.
I have uploaded some of the regular speed, and I'll put it in the title, normal speed, so you can barely see them moving. You do fast motion, yeah, you can see everything, all different directions going all over the place. But I don't know what it is.
It's like for a lot of people, it doesn't count if it's not happening fast enough.
Right. Yeah.
Which
That's
is,
true.
What are you going to do? It's kind of crazy, but yeah.
So let's go ahead and we'll have to do a part 2, I'm assuming, on this, so we can show some more videos or at least dive into some theories or something later on. But for tonight, I think this is quite information we've pumped out there. So anybody that wants to go back and rewatch this, please feel free to leave us comments or emails at midwestnightwatcher@gmail.com. And if you guys would like to give out any of your information, go ahead and do that if you'd like.
Yeah, if anyone else has videos, my goodness, we could have a panel show and have you guys back, have other people share their videos.
Yeah, we'll watch everybody else's videos.
Oh, yeah. If anyone has orbs or any strange phenomena, I mean, we need to share it with each other.
Well, mine's easy because I'm not at a lot of places. It's just Latchkey Hustle on YouTube, and the email address is latchkeyhustle@gmail.com. And I have all the other ones, but I kind of, I'm sort of a family first guy, and this is truly just a hobby. So I kind of have to watch my time because it's easy to get sucked in on these things, and next thing you know, you've spent too much time on it. So yeah, I'm pretty much YouTube and Gmail for me.
Awesome.
Right on. And I want to say thank you to everyone, Midwest Night Watchers, Latchkey Hustle, even my brother here for providing the space and time for me to do this.
Thank you, bro.
I want to thank all of you also who have looked into my videos and have commented or broken down. John, Garrel and Chi have done breakdowns of my videos as well, and I've done little things with them. I haven't shared anyone's I think breakdown, but I look at your videos and I find a lot of similar things. So it's fascinating, and I'm so glad to be a part of this all happening in real time. It's amazing. It's a trippy time. But Brown. Handle at Brown Dwarf 4200, and then you could find me. Hopefully, if you punch in Bigfoot Dwarf, the channel should pop up, and that's one of the reasons why I kind of switched it up, also to see if it's easier for the channel to pop up when people look it up as Bigfoot Dwarf, because Brown Dwarf, a bunch of Brown Dwarf stuff would pop up, which is cool.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah. So anyway, I appreciate everyone, and you'll find a bunch of links on the channel there that could lead you to other platforms, and pretty active here on YouTube. So one love to everyone out there. Thank you.
All right. This has been awesome. And I'll go ahead and put this back up on. And so, like we said, please go to Latchkey's, the parents' GoFundMe to help them rebuild because they lost everything in their fire. And there's an awesome video on Latchkey's site about a tribute to his childhood home and his parents. So please go and check that out. And that's how we'll leave it for everybody. So much love to you guys. Thank you for coming on, and everybody in chat. We love you so much. Sorry I didn't get to everybody's questions and stuff. We just had a lot of information and cool videos we wanted to make sure to concentrate on, but we'll definitely have a part 2, and we'll try to do better with questions.
And you guys don't leave.
I was going to say, okay.
Yeah.
And you could yeah, if you missed, if you didn't get your question, you could always drop that question in the comments after the video, and I'm sure Gerald or Chi or somebody will
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
be
we'll
more
make
than
sure we
happy
get that to Latchkey or Bigfoot
Yeah.
Dwarf if it's something that they need to address, or maybe you ask a specific question for one of them. We'll make sure it gets to the right place.
Cool. Thank you
So,
so much. And thanks everyone in the chat.
yep. Thank
Yes,
you guys.
thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody in chat. Love you all, and we will see you next time. And keep looking up.
And keep your vibrations high.
Thank you, everybody. Good night.
Love you.